Campbell County.
No. Why? Thank you, Cindy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our intergovernmental meeting here on January 6th, 5:31 now. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here in the chambers, we have 4 commissioners. So we have a quorum, and we have Commissioner Shainfeld online as well. So the 5 commissioners are present tonight. I will accept the motion to suspend Robert's rules to be a little more informal.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'd make that motion.
thank you. Do we have a second?
I would second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Let's see, we'll take a roll call here, and I think I can see everybody on our screen. So Mayor Russ, let's see, who's here from Green River?
Hey, this is Reed Clevenger, City Administrator.
Reed.
Hello, thanks. Looks like we have George Jost and Sherry Bushman from here in the City of Green River.
Excellent. City of Rock Springs. Mayor Cole.
And Mr. Chairman, it looks like here we have Councilors Robinson, Hickerson, Demus, West. As far as the council, there's a number there. I don't know if that's one of our councilors. If not, speak up. And we do have Mr. Paul Kalsich, Chief Pacheco, Matt McBurnett, and Mr. Dave Lansing, Richard Beckwith, also as department heads.
Brent Batolo too.
Oh, Brent, thanks.
0892, excellent. Okay. Perfect, thank you. Anybody from Wamsutter we have tonight? All's quiet, okay. Granger. Irene, you're not from Granger. Superior. Also all quiet. Bear Oil.
Hi, this is Sue Regano, and I have my clerk, Ashley Hopkin.
Thanks, Sue, for being here. Appreciate that. Anybody else? We've got Irene from the hospital. Thanks for being here, Irene. And
I believe Taylor's on the line as well.
Taylor's up there.
good. Taylor got away from, well, I'm glad many of us got away from the big party over at the fairgrounds. So that's good that we all made it to this meeting. Excellent. Well, thank you for being here this evening. We'll move on to our committee updates and the ambulance. I was looking forward to hearing from Bailey, doctor, who I don't see here. Tim, you were at the meeting, Tim Robinson, you were at the meeting this morning and got an update from both Bailey and from Ron. Can you enlighten us perhaps on where things stand currently as of this morning?
Well, I can kind of enlighten you. So yeah, we did have the ambulance service board meeting this morning. Bailey was there and Ron Gaddy were there. Essentially at this point, we're status quo. The ball's rolling. I don't want to get in the way of that ball. Both entities are working on the infrastructure, the allocation of assets and everything to try to figure out exactly what we're going to be looking at. I know Bailey is working on a pro forma that she anticipates having done probably by our next meeting, so we can kind of get an idea of what this is going to cost, at least in the near to midterm, so we can kind of start talking dollars and everything else. But right now it's still moving. I think that's positive, but it's definitely not one of those things that we're going to throw together overnight. So probably within the next month, we'll have a greater idea of numbers and the logistics of it.
Thanks, Tim. Were there any concerns either one of them expressed along, we're having problems with this or that, anything that we could help out with, or are we just staying out of the way?
Yeah, I think staying out of the way is probably the best thing for us right now. Bailey did mention that they have brought in Safe Tech to kind of help with the transition. And everybody knows that Safe Tech is the organization that put together the two different studies that we've all been looking at for months now. But I think that things are going well. Both parties were pretty happy with the way things were going.
Perfect. Very good. Thank you for that. Sherry, anything to add to that?
No, just an echo of Tim, and just, once they have the numbers, then we'll have a better idea. So, but thank you for, Taylor and Irene being involved in helping us move this forward too, and actually having us to be able to make decisions amongst the community to move this forward. So I just wanted to say that.
Perfect. I'd wholeheartedly second that as well. And I feel as though there's a lot more cohesiveness and a lot more people working on this. And so feels like we're heading in the right direction. Any comments or questions from anybody in the here or online regarding ambulance? Very good. Okay. Specific purpose tax, we'll move to that. And that would be Roy as well as Lauren. And Lauren, what's going on? What do you got cooking over there with the specific purpose tax?
There's not a lot cooking. The city of Rock Springs did vote to decide to move forward with the process in the meeting right before Christmas, and we have not had the opportunity to meet again. I believe Tim Robinson is going to be stepping in on the specific purpose tax for Rock Springs as well. And so I will be calling a meeting for that. I'm going to send out a doodle poll to figure out when the best time for everybody is. I'm hoping to get it done next week sometime, so we can start talking about how we want to move forward. I think the big thing moving forward is really reaching out to our stakeholder groups throughout the community. And we also probably need to set up, in the past, there has been a group set up that is not specific to elected officials. And so it really, it brings in our engagement from our community members and gets their input and helps moving things forward from their standpoint. So it's not just us working on it, it'll be including community members and stakeholders. And then also gauging our community and seeing what their appetite is. I think that the biggest talk right now has been conversation around menu options. So I think that that would probably be the next decision that we'll end up looking at is, yes, we're moving forward after we get some input from the community, if that's, where we decide to go, and how we want to do that. And then really looking at projects as well. I know that the different municipalities are looking at the projects that we had worked on before and reevaluating those. And so I expect we'll get some back from those that are the same. And I expect that we'll get some different ones as well. And then we also probably need to look and see what the legislators do in the upcoming session, because if there's any opportunity to pay for some of those projects through ARPA funds, we'll want to include those as well. And so I think we can kind of mesh that and see where we can make it work and what we can get the most for our community. That's where I'm at for now. Any questions?
Yeah, what's our timeline? What do we need to accomplish next, and when does that need to be done?
I think that's something that we need to look at our next meeting. We were waiting for all entities to be agreed upon and on board. And so I think that's something we had laid out a timeline the last time and all agreed upon it. But that's something that we need to look at as a group. We need to start moving much more quickly than we have been in the past, because I feel like we're starting to get, I don't think we're behind the 8 ball yet, but we're getting there.
It's rolling.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Mayor Como, not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot, the Rock Springs leadership's support of this is key and pivotal, as we've seen in the past. How would you characterize the Rock Springs leadership's mood support right now?
Mr. Chairman, I think the mood is, everybody's a bit antsy. They want to support. They want to see what the project lists are. They want to see what the amounts are, the time frame, and I'm sure all that'll be coming out of Commissioner Shanefeld's next meeting. We'll get more up with that. We do have, as Lauren mentioned, Councilor Robinson will be our liaison to the group, and I'd like to thank Councilor West for his past work. He's done a fantastic job and staying up on this. It is a lot of work, and we're all busy. It takes many meetings and a lot of research and deadlines to meet. But I think right now, fairly optimistic. Just I think our group is really wanting to see what the projects bring, what the costs are, what could we possibly find out that could be funded through ARPA funds, which is going to be a tough situation for us, because we do know that our legislators will, out of $500 million, dump $450 million into the Permanent Mineral Trust Fund. They create some interest-bearing revenue in that. We know that, and we'll be left to argue over $50 million, and that'll be a process. But water projects seem to be first and foremost, and we'll have to look at what we can get done. But all in all, kind of a hurry up and wait and see kind of thing all at once, where we are for projects, who's asking for what the amounts are going to be, what the time frame is going to be, and whether or not, once we finally move forward with a resolution, whether our group's going to support that resolution. But right now, I believe we ended up at I don't know, 5-3, 6-3, something like that in support. So let's see what happens next meeting. Thanks, Lauren.
Very good. So as long as we don't screw it up, should be get more and more support along the way, hopefully. Very good. Any questions out there or here in chambers for Lauren or for the group in general regarding the specific purpose tax?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I would like to ask anybody to either work with your representative that's on the group, or just get with me if you have any recommendations for stakeholders to include in our conversations, in our meetings, or to be on a committee. Please let me know. I have had a few people from the community reach out to me over the past few months and offer their assistance, but we want to make sure that we've got as many people involved as we can.
Excellent. Lauren, can you run us down who's on the committee? Yourself, we got Tim from Rock Springs. Who else is participating?
Yeah, the city of Green River has Reed is in there, and then they kind of swap out. Wamsutter has I think all of their council members have been showing up.
Okay.
We have Dominic Wolf from Superior. Bear Oil, I'm trying to remember. I think that I think it just kind of depends. So there's been somebody from all of the communities on every call, but it's not always the same person.
Okay. Very good. Okay.
Sorry.
No, just checking to see who, so that if anybody didn't know who their representative was to be out there. So be all good. Okay. Very good. Any other I was the only one with a question, I guess. So thank you. Under other, we have a couple of other topics we wanted to address tonight. One was the redistricting that's going on and the meeting that we have next week in Casper. And we had Senator West, Cole speak with us yesterday. And day before, holy cow. Tuesday and talked about kind of the dire straits that Sweetwater County is in and how we're being carved up and moved around. So Mary, you had some thoughts on that as well. Can you share with us?
Well, at our meeting on Tuesday, we said we would wait to talk about it tonight, but it's serious. It's serious enough that we all should be writing resolutions or something to the legislature. But in the interim, we should be sending people or having them go online to actually testify or talk at the corporation meeting on the 12th, I believe it is. You can go on to the legislative page and get an invite to testify or make comment. The big issue is they aren't even following the rules for redistricting. Senator Cole pointed out that you cannot be, it's supposed to be adjacent county-wise. They're jumping 2 counties to give our Paxton seat, I think it's House District 47. They're giving that to Cheyenne, jumping over Carbon and Albany County to give it to Cheyenne. So I think we need to be stepping up to the plate and making some loud noise, or we're going to lose a representative.
Yeah, it's been a messy process, and the things that I've read since Senator Kolb spoke with us to kind of get up to date. I'd been doing a little bit here and there, but it's, so much is going on that it was kind of like, well, I'm going to wait and see. But that was a bit of an alarm and a wake up call. And so reading some more, yeah, there's some messy maps out there and some different propositions. We do have our clerk, Cindy Lane from the county attending. I'll be in Casper next week as well for work, and we'll see if there is time for me to speak as well. But any thoughts out there from any other folks as far as who might want to attend or could attend, or not that we have to have a commitment or anything? You can hop on, I think, whenever. It's going to be Zoom, and so you can hop on whenever to request time to speak. But any other thoughts on that or knowledge?
Mr. Chairman, just some thoughts, knowledge. I don't know, other than we continue to get the shaft down here in Southwest Wyoming when we bring a lion's share of the revenues back to the state. But this is totally unacceptable to allow this to occur. So yes, we need to stay on it, voice our concerns, and not be pushed around by those on the other side of the state.
Completely agree. So we'll see how next week goes, I guess, the meeting, and who's allowed to speak and how long and all those sort of things. So I'll certainly try to do my best. And did you want to talk as well, Cindy, there? Nope, not just going to attend. Okay, fair enough.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yeah, another thing to keep in mind that for those of us that belong to WCCA as well as WHAM, I fully expect those 2 organizations to take a non-stance in this legislation. So if any of it's to change or get better to benefit us, it has to be done by the representation in this region. So if there's any thought that whether it's the Wyoming County Commissioners Association or the Wyoming Association of Municipalities, if there's a thought there's going to be a group representation from them, there probably won't be. They'll just probably take a very neutral stance and leave it up to us through our representation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You bet. Thank you. Very true.
Mr. Chairman?
I'm sure. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I actually spoke with Jeremiah with the WCCA today. This is not the primary topic of our conversation. However, I did bring it up. And he did, in our conversation, he did state that obviously the numbers and the loudness definitely does come from Laramie County. And Goshen County is a part of that as well. And so apparently there is, per census numbers, our area qualifies for a half of a representative, and they qualify for a half of a representative. And so there's obviously, you can't split one person. And so that is where the conflict is. And there's not a lot of good ways for them to split things up. Like you said, there's a lot of messy maps. And so I don't know if there's a really good solid solution. And I think that that's a potential way for us to get through it. I know there's been a lot of people working on this for a long time, trying to find the best solution for everybody. And I agree that we need to be on top of it. And I know that we had discussion in our commission meeting on Tuesday about potentially getting together and sending just some sort of a letter from all of us, either as a collective or all of us sending the same or similar letter signed by all of us. So I don't know if we want to talk about that, if everybody's in agreement with something like that, but other than just showing up, we can continue to send some information and let them know that we're not pleased with it and we're not going to just stand back and let it happen.
Absolutely. And I think that, I mean, our representatives that are currently there, we don't have any on that committee, which is a bummer. And so leaving it in the hands of our representatives that are currently in the legislature is, it's difficult for them to work because they're not on those committees, but certainly joining with them in the fight, I think, is important. So we'll draft a letter as a commission. If others would like to join with that letter or do their own, that would be just fine with us as well.
Mr. Chairman, I think it would behoove us to get as many as we can, and I would be interested in joining with the commissioners on that letter. So however it works, if not, we'll draft our own and do what you feel we need to do. But I think we do need to get the information out and direct that to the corporation's members and let them know our thoughts.
Thank you. I think we'll all take all the support we can get. So that'll be great. The next item was
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
was there anything else under other?
Yep.
Please,
One other item on the other. Yes.
or there isn't another that you're scheduled?
I have one other item under other. Yeah. Two
Okay,
other.
I'll wait till you're done. I'll wait
Okay.
till you're done. I got a couple things. You might
Oh.
cover one of them.
Fair enough. Joint Communications Board. Roy wanted to bring that up a little bit. Chat some.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, what we need to do is we have our commission has voted to open up and take a look at that, the current joint powers agreement for the Joint Telecommunication 911 Center. I know Mayor Como's reached out to me about it and where we need to go next. And I guess before we talk about where we go next, we do have to ask, has each of the councils made a motion and passed agreement to take a look at that resolution? Because by statute, we can't take a look at it and have those conversations until each of the entities have agreed to open it up and look at it. So Mayor Como, have you guys done that?
I believe that discussion took place. The discussion that took place before was that the county was going to take the lead and send us a draft of some revised language. And I don't want to get into the nuts and bolts at this point, Commissioner, but basically we received the same, pretty much the same language as existed before. And we need to sit down and hash that out.
So I guess, yeah. So has there been an official vote then to agree to open that up and take a look at it from you guys, Mayor Como?
You know, I'm looking through here. I know we
If I may, Mr. Mayor, the answer to that question is no.
yeah, I would see it never made it to our agenda.
So and then then let me jump over to Reed up there. Reed, have you guys done anything to move forward with that?
No, we have not. And we looked back at our old one from, I mean, basically from a year or something ago when we first started talking about it. We have not done that, but we can put that on.
So what I think the next step would be for you guys to make a vote to decide if you want to move forward with it. And then what my recommendation would be is that your group, we could end, I like the idea of setting a committee. I think if we have a smaller group of people looking at it, like a mayor and a councilman, I know I'm the chair of that, Doc's my co-chair, then we can move forward. And then the city of Rock Springs and Green River could bring any of the forward of the changes they want to that committee. The committee can work through it and then either go to We could, eventually look at a workshop if we need to present, or just go back to our councils and commissions and share what we've come up with. And I know we made 5 or 6 proposal. I think it was 5 proposed changes to the language. And I'm sure, and I know Mayor Como had mentioned one in his email to me that they wanted to take a look at. So I'm sure there's pieces of the language your guys' councils would like to take a look at, and then we could just start breaking those down each and having those discussions. And then we could probably just say, once I know you guys have passed your the agreements to move forward, you can let me know who would be representing you guys, and then we could set up our first meeting. And as soon as I have that information, I'm ready to set a meeting and get rolling on it.
And we did sign it last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chairman Smith, Chairman Lloyd,
Yes.
Yes.
thank you. Tim and Reed, after we passed that resolution, not only did we mail you a copy of that joint communications MOU, but also at the very front of it was the resolution, I believe, that I had Mr. De Leon send to each of you, with the idea that the resolution would need to be passed. The language we sent in that for the change of the MOU, again, that was just a beginning, like Commissioner Lloyd had mentioned. It's not etched. That conversation needs to go on. If anything else needs to be changed in it. Second of all, back when we started this, it was advised that as the group sits down and looks at that joint communications contract, that we please have our legal people available in order for that resolution to be presented at first. Our county attorney's office under Deputy Attorney De Leon did present that to the Attorney General's office, did get approved. And as we move forward at this, because it's a joint powers resolution, Tim, as you mentioned, and Reed, you know as well as I do, as well as our attorneys, it'll all have to come together with approval from the Attorney General's office. So there are only steps. There's nothing in concrete. It's just to get the thing going. But as Commissioner Lloyd had commented, we need you guys, city councils, to approve the resolution to open up the contract. If anyone chooses not to,
We can't.
then it's null and void. It goes back to the way it is. It takes all 3 of us to open up that contract as well as to close it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Lloyd.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Lloyd, Commissioner Lloyd,
Yes.
why is it we need to pass a resolution in order to negotiate? That doesn't seem.
If I may, Mayor, and answer that question, the answer to that question is you don't have to pass a resolution to negotiate. You only have to pass a resolution to pass the agreement once we've negotiated and determined that we can move forward. If this language has already been presented to the Attorney General, I would really like to see the Attorney General's opinion and the answer to what was presented. If it's already been submitted to the Attorney General, I think we should have been notified about that.
I think, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I believe our county district attorney, Mr. De Leon, did submit it, and it may be just the resolution part, but not the total contract. But we'll have to talk with John about that. That's just our understanding coming out of our attorney's office. Thank you.
And Chairman and Commissioner Lloyd, one of the things from our side, and I also addressed, is that, while there are, that's pretty much the same changes that were looked at a year ago when we were, kind of started this process, and then got it put on hold with the other things that were going on with how we're going to do the, looking at all those types of services. We never did, from our side, address a lot of the issues that the council had concerns with, of what we wanted to do. So, if it was just the resolution, that'd be good. But as far as the specific items in there, I've already been formulating a letter to council to review, to outline some of the things that we feel that probably need to be addressed in there. So there will be some stuff coming from Green River.
Good. The more input, the better. Anything else, Roy?
No.
So just to clarify, Mr. Chairman, if I could, if all in agreement that a resolution does not need to be passed, and I'm not quite sure why it would have been sent to the Attorney General's office, Commissioner Lloyd, I do think we do need to move forward with scheduling a get together by a select few, if any, to maybe hash out some language and then keep this moving forward. Is that acceptable?
I guess I would, okay. Yeah, I'm getting told it's acceptable. So yeah, I'm willing to do that, Tim. If you'll let me, and Tim and Rita, if you'll let me know who I need to contact, and through email, I will set up a meeting we'll have our first meeting within the next 7 to 8 days. If possible, but if we'll have it as quick as possible.
78 days sounds like a long time. 78 days?
78 days. In the next week to 10 days, we'll have a meeting, Mr. Chairman.
That's even better.
Hey, in a little bit, we'll have a meeting.
All right. Appreciate that.
But I do agree, Mayor Como, that I'd like to be on top of this, and as we meet, kind of set some deadlines and some concepts of when we'll meet, how often we'll meet, when our goals are to get through everything, and when we can start, and then when we can maybe even set a date of a goal that we presented to our groups, because I do think it's important to take a look at it and do it in a timely manner.
Any other comments regarding joint telecom? Okay, thank you. And big task to tackle. So thank you for taking that on. From the hospital, anything from Irene, Miss Richardson? I don't see Taylor on there anymore, but Irene, have anything for us this evening?
I don't. Of course, we're hoping that the county would be willing to sponsor us for a 6 penny project. If we can, we're looking at options for us, but that's our hope, because we do have some ideas for some, we understand that there's going to be a cap, and just a project that might be able to help us meet more needs, more healthcare needs of the community. But we're hoping that the county would help sponsor something like that for us.
Great. Yeah, stay in touch with Lauren on that as it progresses, and we'll. It's good to have hope, Irene. It's always good to have hope.
Hope is a good thing.
Hope's a good thing. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you. Doc, did you have something for us?
Yeah, just a couple of things. As you know, as we come into the legislative session, we've got these interim or these legislative committees going, as not only the corporations dealing with the redistricting, but here in over the next couple of weeks will be the Appropriations Committee. And of course, the big topic in there that impacts towns, cities, and counties is the direct distribution. And the Appropriations Committee will be meeting, and of course, that's on their list. And I have reached out to our Representative Stith, and the Commissioner Jones from Carbon County has reached out to Senator Hicks, and they are both aboard as of yesterday, and Representative Stith this afternoon, in support of keeping the direct distribution at $105 million. So the pushback to reduce it because of the ARPA funds that have been given or are being awarded to cities, towns, and counties. The biggest pushback's coming from Nicholas in the state. So just keep that in mind as we move forward. But we have been affirmed through the Revenue Committee at the WCCA that our two local legislators that sit on appropriations are supportive of keeping the direct distribution at $105 million. Second thing that I'd like to bring up is I would like to put out a special thanks to Mayor Como, your PD department, and especially because Tuesday with the situation that took place here at the courthouse. Your PD department was very much involved in the negotiations and working with things that took place to bring things in order to not only open up the courthouse for business, the museum, but also the city offices in Green River, as well as the PD department. And then I understand your city offices as well. To Mr. Clevenger, I'd like to shout out to you for your law enforcement agencies, as well as your fire department and public people, primarily your fire department who handled the street blockages, as well as your law enforcement PD department that responded, along with the sheriff's department in full SWAT gear, which immediately and smoothly secured this building, secured the inside, made sure that all people were accounted for, no strangers in, secured the building, and then began to secure the outside of this building and to make sure that the safety of all the employees and citizens that were in this building throughout that 2.5 hour ordeal. Of course, a big, huge shout out as well as to the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office. They had the detail for the courts and were immediately on top of that, plus assisting down here. But my understanding is there will be a debriefing with law enforcement. There will be a risk assessment with that through our county risk assessment director. And then at some point in time, really quickly here in the future, there will be a briefing for the county commissioners. But anyhow, I just want to say thank you very much for your help and assistance in making sure that all the employees in this courthouse, as well as the citizens that were here doing business, were safely taken care of. Thank you very much. We appreciate you and your staffs and all the ways that they assisted both Rock Springs and Green River and county. Thank you.
Anything else, Doc?
We appreciate that, Commissioner Wendling, and by all means, I'm sure glad that it turned out in a good fashion. But we are spoiled in the fact that we have some great first responders, county, Green River, Rock Springs. It's fortunate that it turned out well.
Thank you. Agreed. It was as smooth as it could be for us, quite a disruption. So do appreciate that all around. Thank you, Doc, for bringing that up. And any other business to take care of? If not, we'll talk about a next meeting. Do we need a next meeting? Should we have a next meeting with our ambulance and specific purpose tax being the two items generally talked about in this meeting? Would you like to continue to have this jointly, or would you like your representatives to come and visit with you in your respective meetings? Don't everybody go all at once.
One of the things that we had discussed, and Chairman, and this is Reed from City of Green River, but with these meetings that, just I think what Commissioner Lloyd was talking about, being able to break into some of the smaller stuff committees and putting together, a few more of the details and getting it to the point where maybe if it's a quarterly basis, coming back and presenting it to where there's more information. I granted the ambulance thing, I think, is going to come up a little bit sooner because of the 60-day thing that Bailey was working on. But I think, getting more work done, possibly with some of the subcommittees, specifically going in the joint command communication and going into the 6-pane are going to be beneficial.
So having the meeting, but not
maybe this intergovernmental one at a quarter, kind of a quarterly one versus having it every month, and just getting those smaller committees to get all their stuff together, and then kind of what it's supposed to be happening, whatever, maybe we need to relook at those groups again.
okay. Other comments on that?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would agree with Reed. We get an update from our council liaisons also at our meeting, and I see no need to continue with so many of these meetings, maybe a quarterly and get an update, but we're getting an update as it is, so it's a little bit redundant.
Fair enough. I would agree with that. So we will look at perhaps April to reconvene, beginning of April, and that's a long ways out. So any comments? Mary, did you want to,
No, I think that's,
is that okay?
I think that's a good idea.
Good. Roy, Doc, okay. Excellent. So that's a long ways out. So we will schedule it and send something out a little bit later instead of trying to set a date today. Any other business to come before this illustrious body of great minds? None? I would entertain a motion then to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Didn't think so. Thank you very much and appreciate your time this evening. And we'll be chatting with all of you soon. Have a good evening.
Thanks,